So we've skipped a week.
We didn't really skip a week.
What do you mean?
We filmed it.
Yeah.
No, we're too sick.
Yeah. We did try, guys. We did try and put out a podcast last week, and genuinely it would have been the most boring podcast ever. But then when I watched it, I was like, oh my gosh, we're both just so...
Yeah, I didn't even watch it back.
Yeah, you didn't want to. It was very boring. So I thought, you know what? Quality is really important. So I thought, scrap that. And we'll come back the following week.
Do you feel better this week?
I mean, yeah, but yes and no, because obviously last week I was feeling really sick. This week, you know, it's time of the month. So
You're sick.
I'm not sick like I was yet last week.
Your monthly sickness.
Yeah, it's the monthly sickness. It's more like hormonal sickness more than anything. So
Well, my nose is running like a tap.
yeah, so you're still not 100%.
I can't stop it from running. I've had to put some spray on my nose.
Oh my
just
God.
Now. Plus the weather doesn't help. Looks like it's going to rain.
We've had to use...
So if it looks bright right now,
yeah.
it's because we've got our studio lights up.
Usually we don't put any studio lighting on when we're filming for the podcast because there's a lot of light that comes into our lounge, but it's so dull today. It's meant to be raining. So we thought we'd better bring one light. And if this works, it might be an idea to just keep one consistently.
I'm still not 100%, but I'm better than last week. I reckon last week must have been so boring.
Yeah, honestly, I just watched about 10 minutes of it and I was just like, this is literally putting me to sleep. So...
And we were that ill as well and that moody that we had an argument on it.
Yeah. Yeah, because we were sick. We were literally just not in the mood. Grumpy, yeah. It was a very grumpy podcast.
And then we had an argument and then we had to stop.
And then we were just then we came back again, didn't we?
Take 5.
We're like, let's take 5. Came back again, still, then we finished it, but it was super grumpy and just, you could tell we were just not with it. So, yeah, better that we saved you from that, guys, than torture you.
Nico, come here.
What do you want?
No, you don't ask him what he wants, because you know what he wants. Sit down. So basically, we've got a next door neighbour who's got a cat, and this cat makes its way out onto our balcony. Because he sees the cat outside, it's his territory. So he goes nuts. So obviously, if we're not about and we can't let him out, he just sits inside looking at this cat outside, terrorising him because she's on his balcony. And I reckon it must have happened this morning because he's literally been on edge all morning and just trying to get us to go outside with him.
So basically where his bed is, he's got the view through the kitchen into one of the balconies. And it's that balcony that the cat comes onto and then just sits there and stares at Nico. So Nico can't do anything. I always know when Nico's seen him because the minute I open his pen in the morning, jumps on me, he goes straight to the kitchen and is looking where's he gone?
Yeah, we have 2 balconies facing this way.
Yeah.
He made me let him out on this balcony, and then he came in, nudged me again and made me go and open the other balcony.
Yeah, so he's on high alert lately.
Red alert.
Oh. So where have I heard high alert?
Probably in the same place where you hear a lot of your things that you make up.
It's high alert. I've heard high alert.
Okay, maybe red alert. That's what I've heard.
I've heard high alert. Sometimes I think I'm right. Sometimes I think I'm actually right. And you might be wrong.
Okay, so explain what low alert is. When you alert, but
just because I said high alert doesn't mean there is a low alert. It just means there's only a high alert.
So there's alert and high alert.
Yeah.
Not low alert.
No.
You couldn't just be red alert.
Well, then that means there would be every other colour alert.
All right.
There is high alert, I'm telling you. So, guys, if anyone has had high alert, please let me know. Just comment high alert if you agree with me. And if you agree with Bobby, comment red alert.
They're all going to agree with you, aren't they?
No, not necessarily, because you get so many... You got the little Bobby fan club who are like, oh, Bobby time. Bobby time. No one ever puts Nina time. So I think you're wrong there.
Haters going to hate.
I'm not hating.
You are.
No, I'm not. I think it's good for you. Nice for you to have a little, I don't know what you want to call it.
Fan club.
Fan club, yeah.
What are you going to say? Make up something else that you've heard somewhere.
I was going to say little posse.
Jeez.
Why?
How old are we?
I don't know. Where does posse come from? Is it really old?
It's the kind of stuff you used to say when you're like 13.
Yeah, well... In my mind, sometimes I am 30.
I think you've lost 40 years of your age this week.
What are you talking about?
With how Christmassy you want to be.
No. See, this really frustrates me. If you enjoy something, I would fully support you on that, even if I didn't enjoy it.
Which I have been doing.
Well, let's be honest. You kind of have, but then if you have a little blip where you tell me that you think it's stupid, basically, that eradicates all the other time that you've actually supported me.
Untrue.
No, it's not true. I'm actually telling you how I feel.
Okay, but what I'm saying to you is, right, okay, so let's just get down to what it is,
Yeah,
right?
but be nice.
Okay.
Because I'm in that state of mind where I could just like that cry.
All right. So, basically, it's only you and me here, right? So I have to set the scene. So it's only you and me here, and I have to be very careful how I'm going to say this so I don't upset you.
Take your time.
All right, so it's you and me in our apartment with our little dog,
Yeah.
right? We don't have any children.
No.
Therefore, we don't buy gifts for any children. And this year for Christmas, it was a case of, what do we want for Christmas? And I was like, I don't need anything. I don't want anything. But I know how important Christmas is to you. So I basically sent you some money and said, go and buy yourself a gift. You then responded with, okay, so what are we doing? Are we not doing our little secret Santas?
Yeah, it's not like a secret Santa, just to explain to people. It's like what we did last year and what I said last year that we should do every year, to which you agreed, was that we set a specific amount, which isn't a crazy amount, a specific amount for each other. And it's a set amount that we're allowed to spend on one another. And we go out and we get whatever you want for the person, whether it be a few different things out of that budget or one thing out of that budget for one another. We wrap it and we put it under the tree. And for me, that's just about having something, having that Christmas morning where you can unwrap a gift, and it's quite nice because you're not thinking about, you're not taking advice from the person in terms of like, oh, what do you want? I'll get you this. It's just completely unknown. So yeah, kind of like a secret Santa, but we know it's from each other.
Okay. So like small little mini gifts, basically.
Yeah.
Which we did last year. And we end up weirdly buying each other exactly the same thing.
One thing we've got exactly
one thing
the same.
is exactly the same thing, right? So this year I thought, what's the point in doing that? Because we did that last year and we ended up buying the same thing for one another. And there's a few little things, and I bought you something that you already had that you had to go back and return, and it was just a lot of, like, it just didn't really go to plan.
Well, it kind of did. I still really enjoyed it.
Yeah, but I bought you something that you bought me, and then I bought you a gift that you already had.
What?
The jigsaw. Because I know you loved it.
Yeah. Yeah, but that was fine with me. Like, I didn't... For me, that's like I went and got something that I know I would use. I can't remember what I got in place of that, but I still really appreciated that, because even though you didn't know that I already had that jigsaw, for me it was kind of like, that was a really nice thought. So had you have bought any other jigsaw that I didn't have, I would have kept that. Do you get what I mean? So for me, that meant it doesn't. I never looked at that and thought, oh, for God's sake, I have to return that, or for God's sake, got each other the same thing, because that thing that we got each other the same, which was a Mont Blanc notepad thing, like this leather book, I use. Like, I love those little books because I write in them all the time. I'm still a writer. I'm not someone who has to put everything on my phone. I still do enjoy sitting and making lists or whatever you want to call it. So I know that might have been frustrating for you, but it wasn't for me. And it's for me. I'm the one who had to return something, but it wasn't frustrating for me.
Okay, but you bought me that notebook.
Yeah.
I haven't written anything in it because I don't write stuff.
So you don't write anything? Well, then I know that for the future, though. And also...
So you can have that if you want.
That's fine, not a problem. But if you're saying that you said that you were like, oh, we bought each other little gifts, that isn't how you said it to me.
Okay, but hold on. So how I said it to you was, like, this whole thing about giving gifts during Christmas, I'm a fully grown adult now, so Do you know what I would do during the year when I want something? I go and buy it.
Yeah, but that's not very nice
Okay,
for,
hold
me, for
on.
someone to hear who actually does enjoy it.
Okay, but hold on. That's all I was saying. Like I'm literally living, I'm living an adult life right now. Whereas if I want something, I don't wait until Christmas to go out and buy it. I just literally, if I feel like having it, I'll go out and buy it during the time that I want to buy it.
But do you think that I'm not aware of that though?
Yeah, I know, which is fine. But I look, if my thoughts on this, right? If we had children, it would be a lot more festive because you're buying stuff for the little kids, right? And you make it all Christmassy out there and put the stuff under the tree and stuff like that. I don't know where the last 40 years of your life go, because then you go to being like 4.
That's really mean to say that.
It's not mean.
Yes, it is, babe. Because, and this is what I said to you. If someone enjoys something, right? Are you telling me I'm the only person out there in their 40s who actually enjoys Christmas?
No, I'm not saying that.
And enjoys the festivity of it? We're not religious, right?
I don't think anyone
Super
is.
religious. And secondly, we don't celebrate Christmas for the reasons Christians or anyone else
No, we
celebrate Christmas.
We do the commercial element of Christmas, right?
Yeah, and that's, for me, it's because I've grown up doing that. And that's something that I think, regardless of your age, I think is a nice thing to do.
I
Right?
do.
And so when you said what you said and the way you said it, which wasn't the best way, and I think you know that, when you said what you said to me, the way you said it, to me it felt like almost saying to me that you are...
Why
are you
being a
acting...
Scrooge?
Yeah, it did, because it kind of did make me feel a little bit kind of like, oh great, now I just don't want to discuss anything festive with him. For me, it's not about how much money have you spent. For me, it's the experience of Christmas morning. So for me, like having a Christmas tree, I think is festive. And secondly, to me, it isn't festive if we just get up on Christmas morning and then it's just like get on with your day and have the food and that's it. For me, Christmas morning is important because it's that nice feeling, and call it whether you, even though you might not want you might see it as being selfish, but I like the feeling of giving you something and you not knowing what it is, and it's something that you can use.
Okay, so this was the point that I was making the other day, right? So you giving me a gift is to make you happy.
It does make me feel happy.
I know, yeah. So it's like whether I want it or not, it's about you doing something because it makes you happy.
Yeah, but last year, that was the first time we did something like that, right?
Yeah.
Right. There have been times where I've bought you something and it's not been for any specific reason, correct? Mm-hmm. And you've liked it, right?
Yeah.
So now I know, okay, I can go down that route, or I can make sure it's something that I know he's going to use, not just something random. For me, you could get me something random and I'd still be happy. But at least now I know that, okay, I could get you something that for him, I need to change the way I address it, because for him, it's not just about anything random. It's about something that I think he would probably use.
Look, I'll be honest, right? I think it's a little bit more deep rooted for me. I'm not very good at receiving presents or receiving gifts.
I know what you're like with gifts. That has been a very big struggle for me throughout our relationship with how you are about buying yourself something. Can you agree there?
Yeah.
We've had arguments in the past because of how I do not agree how you approach that topic, right? And just for anyone listening, in a nutshell, what it is he doesn't buy himself something, and it takes him forever to decide to buy himself something. And he doesn't like receiving gifts, because I don't know what that is, but he has a problem when it comes to that. We've had arguments about that in the past where I've said that I feel like you should just open up, be accepting of it, stop feeling like you shouldn't get yourself something because you could be spending that money on something else or anything like that.
But I prefer to buy gifts for other people.
I know that, but then that's how I feel, babe. That's how this is my point. I think they're tied together.
Yeah, but the people that I prefer to buy gifts for, lap it up. They love it.
Okay, yeah, but also...
But you're basically buying gifts for someone who struggles to receive gifts.
Once a year. I can't... When it comes to your birthday, it's difficult to do that. You would rather take the money and get something once you've accumulated a certain amount and get a flipping bike or something. Or it's like, oh, I want this bike. And I'm like, okay, well then, okay, that can be your birthday present to me. And I'm like, okay, you have a deciding factor on every gift that is given to you, whether it be in the form of money or whether it be in the form of something you want, which is highly likely to be something to do with cycling. Do you agree with me there?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the one time of the year that I want to do something, and it's not even a lot, it's a little budget that we've set for one another, that we can go out and get whatever for one another. That one time, do you understand why I find that so important? Because that I get that one time to be able to give you something that you don't have a choice of whether you agree or not in it. So now do you understand why that's also extra important to me?
Yeah. All right. I get your point. We'll do it then if you want.
That would make me very happy.
Okay, but then don't get me any big gift or anything.
So you want little gifts?
No, as in like how I've given you money to go and get yourself a big gift.
Yeah.
Don't.
No, you're talking about Secret Santa.
Yeah, the little things to put under the tree.
We'll do. I can get whatever I want from that as long as it's something I feel like you're going to use, right? Okay, fine. That makes me happy. Because for me, what really makes Christmas is Christmas morning as well as all the other bits.
So then if that's what you want to do, then do I have to get you stuff as well?
Yeah.
But then, see, this is
I'm
the
not
whole thing.
saying no, you're not getting it.
No, you just said that the whole point of it is that it makes you happy to buy me stuff, right?
No.
I've done you here.
Yeah, you haven't. I should have covered that. I should have covered that.
I've done you here.
I should have covered that, so I'll cover it right now for you.
No.
I'll cover it right now for you.
Because I'll make you happy.
I'll acknowledge
I'll make you happy, which is basically you want to go out and basically...
I want it for each other. Babe.
Right.
Babe, there's no way. If you decide not to do it for me, fine, don't do it for me. But to me...
I haven't said that.
Okay,
I haven't said I don't want to do it for you, but I am doing what makes you happy. And you said what makes you happy is buying me gifts.
Yes, but I want the process. I want the whole process. I want the whole process. I would like the whole process because that to me is nice. I like knowing that, oh my God, you've gone... It's... Any woman out there will understand this.
All I've heard is you, as a kid,
yeah,
right? You don't enjoy having presents under the tree because you go and secretly open the side of the wrapper.
That was me as a child, babe.
Yeah.
Make little holes to see what's been
exactly.
given.
So then it's not a surprise, is it?
Yeah, but I don't need to wait
until Christmas morning.
I don't do that now, do I?
Who knows?
I'm not getting up in the middle of the night to check if Santa ate the carrots and the glass of milk.
Who knows if you...
I'm not doing any of that.
If you're checking to see what I've got you.
No, I'm not, but...
You didn't look very surprised last year, and I thought, oh, she's been...
No, I didn't know at all.
Yeah, because when I gave you the book, you looked at me like, what?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, the notebook, you looked at me and I was
like... Oh, the notebook. Yeah. That's because I knew that I had got that for you too. That's why. But yeah, I do like the whole process. I'll be honest, when you give me something and I don't know what it is, but I love it. I'm just like, oh my God, he has gone out. And this is what I mean. It doesn't have to be something materialistic. The fact that you've gone out and you've gone searching for something and you've picked something out for me makes me happy.
Okay. I bought you a book, you've not read it.
No, because I've still got so many to go through, babe.
Alright, so we'll do that. So you're going to just get me gifts? Or is it that...
No, it's a two-way thing, like we said. Right?
So that also
We're going to have some gifts under the tree.
So that also makes you happy then?
Yeah, that does make me happy, like I just said. I like that feeling.
Okay.
So that is something, without fail, I would like to make a Christmas tradition that we do. But yeah, I do really enjoy Christmas. I love the food side of it. I know that's your favourite part of it. The food, the taking a few days off and relaxing.
To me, that is what makes Christmas. Do you know, I was speaking to a friend this morning, he called me, and he's asking me if I celebrate Christmas. Obviously, in this part of the world, not everybody celebrates Christmas. Yeah. So it's one of those things where people ask each other, like, are you celebrating Christmas? So he's like, yeah. I said, yeah, I am. I said, we're not Christians, so we don't go to the church or anything like that. So it's nothing like that. But he said, no, like the commercial side. I was like, yeah. I said, we've got a tree up, and, because he wanted to ride on Christmas morning. And I was like, I don't think I'm going to get the pass to go out first
Christmas morning?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
On Christmas Day.
Yeah, that's a no-go. And I never say no, but that is a no-go.
Even I knew, I know it's not happening. So I was like, look, I don't think I'm going to get the pass to come out. So yeah, now he's just asking whether or not we celebrate. So I was like, yeah, it's just the commercial side. And I said, for me, it's great because the majority of the world is all closed.
Yeah.
Like Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, Boxing Day. So you get no hassle for work. Everybody else is off. It's like, how it was during COVID.
Yeah.
During lockdown.
It's pretty nice,
because everybody's not working. So nobody's contacting you to to do stuff.
It's just quiet, isn't
So
it?
yeah, so it does give me a chance to switch off and just watch TV or sleep or eat or do
Yeah.
what I want. So for me, it's like that's what I love about Christmas. And obviously, like growing up, so it wasn't that we didn't celebrate Christmas because we did, but it was more like it wasn't about the presents for us
Yeah.
growing up. It wasn't about, the presents under the tree. It was more like dad's off work. We shut the factory for like between now and New Year's.
Yeah.
And that we knew, right, we've got dad to ourselves.
Yeah.
And then it was just about food and watching films and chilling out. And then my uncles would come over, my cousins would come over, or we'd go over there. And it was just a case of like family all getting together. And just literally, there was just constant like food out. So
Did you have a Christmas tree?
some years, it wasn't like a big thing. It wasn't like, oh, every year. Like some years we had one, some years we didn't. So it wasn't
That
like...
kind of explains it then as well.
So it's not like, for me, it's not, oh, Christmas is Christmas if we have a tree up.
We, without fail, I cannot remember a Christmas that we didn't have a tree. And that we didn't have that Christmas morning of running down the stairs and, turning up to loads of presents and then sitting there opening them all and getting excited. Like, that's just something, every family is different. And it doesn't mean one is right or wrong. I think everyone has a different way that they celebrate Christmas. Whether for some, like you said, it's about getting together. For some, it's about the gifts or the morning or all of it, like getting together and everything. I think you have to figure out what you kind of bring a bit of both together. Like for you, I'm guessing a lot of the food is a big thing as well. Do you know what I mean?
But then I tell you what my dad used to do, and I remember like there used to be a shop in the town that we used to live in that used to sell like designer clothes. So we'd have like Christmas Eve, like so the factory used to be open Christmas Eve half day if it was a weekday. So what would happen is like for the morning, like they'd work, the workers would work for a bit, and then the latter part of the morning was spent cleaning the whole factory. So the factory was basically spick and span. So all the workers were getting together, just cleaning their departments.
Yeah.
And then after that, like my dad and my uncles would basically get some food in and open like bottles of alcohol, like for all the workers.
Yeah.
Like, it's like an open bar basically. And there used to be a pool table at the factory, like in the free area. So they'd bring the pool table up from where it used to be, put it in the middle of the factory, and then it's literally everybody's like playing pool, and like the families would all get together as well. So like we'd all turn up there because it's like they used to have a factory Christmas party, like a Christmas dinner, where they'd take all the employees out to a restaurant. That'd be the Christmas dinner during early December. But then on the last day there'd always be this massive, basically like up, if you call it, if you want to call it that, because at the end of about 3-4 o'clock, we'd have to end up calling people's partners and saying you need to come and pick him up because he's like literally can't walk, and that people would literally go home like completely like drunk.
Yeah.
And then so that used to be Christmas Eve. Then Christmas Day we'd know, right, we've got Christmas now with Dad, and then we'd have food and stuff. And then on Boxing Day or the day after, depending on when it fell, we'd end up going to the shop, and that's when Dad would be like, okay, so all of us could literally go and get, and that used to be kind of like our Christmas gift.
Yeah.
So we didn't open it in the morning, but we knew it wasn't that we wouldn't get a gift.
Yeah, but you'd get it in a different way.
Probably, like he'll take us and then we'll go out and go and get, like I'd go and get a jacket or a coat or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, that big black coat that I wear sometimes.
Yeah.
I got that once for.
Right.
So so it was like, it's weird how different families celebrate Christmas in different ways. So I get why you are the way that you are.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, fine.
Yeah.
But then I don't get excited about it, and I think that annoys you because I don't get as excited as you to put a tree up. For me,
Yeah.
right or wrong?
Yeah. I know.
And
I agree with that.
I can see your frustration that, like I have no interest in it.
Yeah.
Like, and you'll put the tree up, and I like it. It looks nice.
I have to say, I have made it look really good this year.
So the tree's nice.
Yeah.
But for me, it's like I look at it. And the only thing, like when I look at that tree, it's like it reminds me that it's Christmas, because Christmas kind of crept up on us this year.
Yeah.
So I don't even know where it's come from. But I sit here watching TV and I see the light lights flashing, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's Christmas. Then I just carry on watching.
So don't you think that's actually, I think another reason it's actually nice to put a Christmas tree, which obviously I wouldn't have realised until I was older, like now, but it signifies something different for different people, I think, right? Yeah. Obviously for the people who celebrate it for religious reasons, it signifies something different. Do you know what I mean?
What does it do? What?
I don't know. I can't.
You actually don't know what Christmas is about. You make such a big deal out of Christmas.
Yeah, like I said, it's not for the religious reasons, babe.
I think the whole world knows what Christmas is about. What
then?
It's the day Jesus was born.
We just had to cut out a whole lot because it was... I would 100% for sure get cancelled. Yes or no? Would I have got cancelled?
I'm sat here in disbelief.
Okay, listen. Like I said, right? Everyone celebrates it for different reasons. I'm sure there are so many people who put a tree up. Stop looking at me like that. They put a tree up because of the religious reasons, right? But...
What normally goes on top of the tree?
A star.
Why is that?
See, it's all coming back to me now. I remember when I learnt all this at school. I can't remember the story.
Jesus.
I can't remember.
That's all even the fact that I've just said that, Jesus, that should be enough for you.
Okay, look, I know that everyone celebrates Christmas differently and the tree signifies something different for everyone. Like, I just think that, okay, you've got people who celebrate Christmas for religious reasons. They'll have the tree up for those reasons. But I think for the rest of the world who do celebrate Christmas for other things like coming together, you know, you've taken the bits that kind of like obviously relate to them more, maybe. It signifies something different. I'm really trying to ignore your face right now because I know what you're thinking. But for us, I think it's really nice because it does signify that, listen, guys, just a reminder, it's Christmas. You're going to have some time off soon. You're going to eat loads of turkey soon. You're going to have all these different things. So I think it's quite nice. That's our reason.
You're the epitome of commercial Christmas.
Yeah.
That's basically you.
Yeah.
Commercial Christmas, get some presents, eat some food, put a tree up.
Yeah. Bake.
Fully bought into the commercial side of it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not going to lie there. I agree there with you.
So you love to celebrate a festival that you don't know what it's about.
Who said I don't know what it's about? I'm just not gonna... I'm just not...
You said.
Listen, I'm just saying that I'm not religious, am I? And I would not expect someone who is a different religion to me to understand a festivity that we maybe celebrate.
We grew up in the UK. Did you not have, like, nativity plays?
Yeah, I can't remember them properly, though. Honestly, my memory is so bad, babe. But you know that.
Right, see, let me remind you.
All I remember is they...
Can you remember Three Wise Men?
Not properly, no. I don't know what play we did, but they made me the pigeon. What was that for?
Definitely not this. There's no pigeon in this.
Okay, they made me the pigeon. I had a pigeon outfit. I was this big fat pigeon.
They created a role, basically, to put you in a corner as a pigeon.
Probably, yeah. But no, I can't remember what it was, but I was a pigeon. And I remember I had to do a dance. I was doing this dance. I had like flapping my wings and I was doing the dance. I don't think I was even allowed to be in the other play, which was about Jesus.
The nativity play is about Jesus.
Yeah, the one where there's like the baby and everything.
That is Jesus.
Oh, right, okay, yeah. We cannot put this in.
Babe,
we cannot put this in.
Now I know the level of how much attention you didn't pay at school.
Yeah, I didn't pay much attention at school. I hated it. Had they have left me in my central London school, I probably would have been...
educated.
Or dead. Or dead. I would have either been in a gang or...
Or in a posse.
Or I would have been well educated. But look how I've turned out. This is what I always say. Doesn't matter if you didn't go to uni.
They don't teach the sort of stuff we're talking about at uni.
No, I know. But I mean, look, even then, right, I was not good at school. I was great at coursework. I was so bad at exams. Put me under pressure and I was just like not having it. And a lot of the time, I'll be honest, I didn't pay attention because I had so much bullying at school. Unfortunately, my attention was focused way more on trying to not get bullied or trying to fit in, that I didn't pay as much attention to my studies as what I wish I had. But again, I wouldn't have actually changed where I've ended up today. So, you know, maybe if I did pay more attention, I'd be doing something else and I wouldn't be sitting here.
Fair enough. Anyway, so that's Christmas, I think, knocked on the head.
Yeah. Oh, so something we did discuss last week, but obviously it didn't go live. Let's discuss that now. I remember asking this question, like, is there anything throughout this year that you feel that you've learned, like, about yourself or just some growth that you've made?
Okay,
It could be anything
I'll
that
tell you
you've
what
realised about yourself.
I've learned about myself. Not learned about myself, I think something that I've started doing a lot, I'm a lot better at, which is saying no. If I don't want to do something,
Yeah.
I'm much better at it now.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to do that. Or, you know, I think I used to kind of just go with the flow a lot.
Yeah.
And whether I wanted to do something or not, I'd end up going with it. And then, like, for example, it could be going to a restaurant or going on a bike ride or doing something, you know, like people would say to us, oh, do you want to come and do this? And I'll be like, yeah, okay, fine, let's go and do it. And I'd end up going and doing it. And, you know, either spending money or wasting my time doing something. And I remember, like, halfway through certain events and stuff, and I was just sat there and I'm like, what am I doing? I don't even want to be here. And it's either costing me money to be here or costing my time. I think I then had to sit back and think, like, if I don't want to do it, why am I doing it? Like, you can't force me to do something I don't want to do.
Why do you think you were doing it?
I think I've just been conditioned into it growing up. I never really did stuff that I wanted to do. It's very, even now, you know me. When do I ever say, I feel like doing this, and I go off and I do it, and I drag you along with me? You know, it's always a compromise. But if it's something that I want to do, either you come, like, I'll put it out there, this is what I feel like doing, knowing that you don't want to do it, but the option is there as to whether or not you want to come and do it with me, or if you don't. And if you don't, I'm more than happy doing stuff on my own, or finding other people to do it with me. For example, I know, like, how I went on safari with you, you didn't like it, right? But I've got a friend wanted to go, and I went with him and I had a great time, right? Therefore, so I know, you know, like, it's not often that I turn around and say I really want to do something. I think that's probably why I've always been conditioned into just going with the flow.
Trying to please other people.
I don't think I'm doing it as a people pleaser. But since I've stopped doing it, I can see how I'm annoying people by saying, no, it's all right, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, I do agree with you there. And I think this is another reason, you know, when you say, it might be very little in comparison, but when you say to me, what do you want to eat? Where do you want to go? I will 99% of the time say to you, you tell me where you want to go. And the reason I say that to you is because I know that you don't do that. You don't often say, I want to go here or I want to go there. So if I can do it with something like food, where it's like, I know there's something I'll be able to eat wherever you choose. We've got very similar tastes anyway when it comes to food, but wherever you choose to go to, I know there's something I'll be able to eat there. So that's another reason I say that to you, is because just have that choice. Do you know what I mean? Like, just decide where you want to go. Like, when it comes to like the safari and everything, I wish it was something that wouldn't affect your experience. But because I know that it's something that will affect your experience, because clearly I'm going to be freaking out at certain things or worried about snakes and stuff like that.
Could not sleep.
But this is my point. Like, I don't want to be worrying about things like snakes, and because it's not a case of I can just suck it up, because I know it's something like I have fears with certain things. So that will inevitably affect your experience. So that's a situation where, unfortunately, isn't something where I can suck it up and deal with it for your sake, which I wish I could, but it's something that would actually...
Which is fine, and I understood that, which is why I went with my friend, and I had a great time.
Yeah, and I'm glad you do, but wherever I can give you that kind of like, no, you decide, I will do that. Do you know what I mean? So this is why sometimes we end up like bickering, because I'm like, no, you tell me, and you're like, no, you tell me, and I'm like, no, you tell me, because I'm a lot like, I know there's something I could eat no matter where we go. Do you know what I mean? But I do agree with you there, and I think it's really good that you've started doing that. I think if I'm thinking of what I think how I've changed throughout the year, there are a couple of things. One is very similar to you. I do feel like I have become a lot more confident in saying no to people. I think I previously found it very difficult to say no because I worried that I would offend people. And I think I feel like I've grown so much this year and become so much more confident in myself in being open about whether I want to do something or not. I think previously I would worry about how I would say no. It's not so much to please people, but it's like, how do I say no to you? I didn't know how to say no to people for certain things. And I don't know if that's just lack of confidence or what it was, but I feel like this year I've really learned to kind of just nip it in the bud and deal with things. Stop.
But I also think other people don't understand the pressure that they've got. It's like they've got no social, radar. Like, to understand that, hang on a minute, I'm putting a lot of pressure on this person. Quite clearly, they don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Like if, for example, right, if I wanted to do something, and like even with you, right, like for example, if I wanted to do something and I kind of get the smallest inkling that you don't want to do it,
Yeah.
I'm not going to force you.
Yeah.
I know you don't want to do it. What am I going to gain out of making you do something that you don't clearly want to do?
Yeah.
Right? But some people don't get. It's like they don't get the hint.
Yeah.
Do you want to do this? And no, I'm not really feeling. Oh no, go on, you got to do it. Oh, you have to come. If you don't do it, then none of us are going to do it. And it's like, what?
I think that we've both dealt with that this year with different people. I immediately know what situations you've dealt with that. Do you know what I mean? So I know like who and what you're talking about. And I think it's been numerous situations with you, I think, as well, where I don't understand people like that. I really don't. Like, for some reason, some people think that they are going to change your mind about something.
They think they're doing you a favour. Oh, I'm opening your mind up to stuff.
No, but what they're doing is actually pissing me off. That's what they're doing. They're actually pissing me off because I'm just like, now I'm definitely not going to enjoy it because you are pushing me a bit too much now. And I think, I don't know, I feel like I'm actually really happy with how I've changed this year in that aspect. And I feel like there are certain things that have rubbed off on me from you. And it's sometimes difficult to know what things you have taken from your partner and you become like that. Like, it's difficult to see those things. Do you know what I mean? Like, I know that I have changed in certain ways since we've been together, and I know that you have changed in certain ways, and the reason for that is because of one another, rubbing off on one another. But sometimes you don't see those changes. You don't know how you change. But I think this year I really do see a specific change that I know is because of you, and I'm really happy about it because I feel like it's something that I used to look at you and think like, oh, I really admire that about you, that you are able to just give your, like, say no to something or question something and nip it in the bud quite quick. And I was never able to do that because I would allow it to fester and think that, oh, how am I going to say no? Or how am I going to deal with this situation? And I really have noticed that I am going straight into it without even the need to go to you and say, how do I deal with this? Not necessarily with everything. I'm sure there are still things that I do that with, but I
think the problem here, right, isn't that you can't say no. I think the problem is that your fear of offending the other person by saying no. Like, how are you going to say this to that person?
Yeah.
Right. So there's like a couple of guys that I know, a couple of friends, right, that are very good at saying no. Right. So one is Paul. You know, no chance in hell have you got to get that guy to do something he doesn't want to do. If he doesn't want to do it, and he said no, forget it, no chance.
Yeah.
And he's always said, I'm like 50 something years old. Like, why am I going to do something that I don't want to do?
Yeah.
At what point in my life do you think you're going to make me now do something that I don't want to do? So he's good at that. And the other guy's John. John's always done that. Like, how hard do I try to get him to come out and ride with him?
See, do you feel that you're doing what you hate other people doing with you? Do you think that you're doing that with him?
With who?
With John?
I do that to wind him up more than anything. So just to put it into context, so John is a guy that I try and get to come out and ride with me. He doesn't ride a lot.
Yeah.
But I don't make him feel like, oh, you know, we're not going to go now if you don't come. And he knows, we'll have a joke, and I'll always say, look, I enjoy your company, and that's the only reason. And he does want to come out, but with John, he's just very lazy, and he admits it.
Yeah.
But when he does come out, he has a great time. So it's one of those things, so it's not that I'm forcing him.
You're not trying to change his mind about something.
And it's fine, it's all good. Like, I know his stance on it. I'm not trying to change him as a person. My issue is always, saying no and not offending that person so that, they then rule me out of any future events or any future, opportunities or anything like that. So, but now I've got to that point, if I say no to you and you don't want to involve me ever again.
That actually goes to show that the person wasn't genuine in the first place.
I haven't got time for you anyway. Do you know what I mean? Because now I'm not doing what you want me to do.
Yeah.
Now you don't want to know.
Yeah. Right. If I see that side to someone, I feel like, well, I'm glad I saw that side now. I'm glad I said no now, because now I know that you're not still going to be there regardless.
Yeah. So whilst I do things your way,
then you're okay to be there.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
But now I've said no, I've put my foot down and said no, I don't want to do it. No, it's like,
that just shows the type of person that you are.
Yeah. So for me, I think I've got better at that, and I think I've stopped giving a shit about other people now, thinking, he doesn't want to come or whatever. So
yeah, I agree there, and I think that's a really good change. I think the other thing that I've definitely been doing this year is just putting effort in where I know I receive effort. So if you don't put effort in with me, I'm not going to put effort in with you. If you don't contact me, I'm not going to contact you. And that's just the way that I deal with it now. Like, I'm not going to keep pouring into people's cups when I'm not getting anything back. And see it however you want to see it. It might look like it's a selfish thing to do, but I am honestly so sick and tired of putting effort in with people where I get nothing back. Because for me, if I'm going to put effort in with a person, I expect that person to be able to put some effort in with me. That's not to please me. That just tells me a lot about you as a person. And if you are not that type of person, then I don't want to really waste my time with people like that.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think when you reciprocate people's efforts back at them and they don't like it.
It's funny, isn't it?
Do
you know what's really funny is when you don't contact someone, or when you pull away from putting effort in with someone who clearly doesn't put effort in with you, then you realise how little effort they actually put in with you. Yeah. That's when you realise, because sometimes when you are the person who is always putting effort into something or a person, it's very blurred, because all you're seeing is there's effort being put in, but you don't look at the fact that, hold on, all that effort is being put in by you. The only reason they're responding is because you reached out first. But the minute that you think, you know what, let me take a step back and let me see whether they do what I have been doing for so long, and when you see that they don't, that's quite an eye-opener, I think. That's not the kind of person I want to continue putting effort in. Why should I do that when I'm not getting anything back?
No, I agree.
Should we go into some listener questions or just messages that we've had? Catching up on your vlogs, love them. How do you both remain positive? Please read my question in your next podcast. This is from Fariha from the UK.
I think I'm quite a positive person anyway. It doesn't take me effort. There's having said that, I'm not saying I'm positive all the time. There are certain things that get me down, but I think I've always got a can-do attitude to everything. I'm a fixer, as we know.
Yeah.
So if there's ever a problem, naturally I will tend to move towards finding a solution or how am I going to fix this, which kind of keeps me positive anyway. And on the odd time that I am feeling a bit negative, I prefer just to be left alone. I'll get over it after a few hours. Normally, if something's happened and it's something that has got me down, by the next day I'm over it.
I feel like we're both actually very positive people in how we approach things. Like we both have a can-do attitude. But I do feel that when you are maybe feeling a bit negative, I feel like I will help you to get out of that. And I feel like when I'm feeling a bit negative, you will help me to get out of it. So thankfully, it's very rare that we're both at that negative point at the same time, because that would be a complete disaster.
That'd be
That would be it, yeah. But I do feel that we kind of balance each other out in that way. Like, whenever I feel that you are feeling a bit negative about something, I try my best to lift your spirits, or just to at least help you to understand that don't look at it that way. It's very easy to look at it that way, but try and look at the good part of it. And I think that that's what you do as well.
I guess because we both, even though we work together, our roles are so different that even if something in work will get me down, it won't get you down, because it's to do with the area that I'm dealing with.
Yeah.
So you will carry on doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
Whereas if something gets you down, it's to do with a different element of what you're doing that doesn't affect me.
Yeah.
Therefore, it is very difficult to get us both down together
Yeah.
at the same time.
Yeah.
I know it's easier said than done, right? And be positive. But I do think the environment in which you live also dictates how
Easy
what
it is.
yeah what your outlook is on certain things in life, right? So if you're surrounding yourself by people who are constantly negative, doom and gloom, and why is this happening to me, and all, like, you surround yourself by negativity, you unfortunately, it's going to be very difficult for you to be positive. Whereas if you surround yourself in a positive environment, it's not hard to carry that positivity forward, is it?
Yeah, I 100% agree there. I feel like you are who you hang out with, ultimately, in every aspect.
It's not even who, it's the, like, it could be the weather, it could be, like, it could be like so many different things. Like, for us, it's easy. The sun's out every day. We open the curtains. It's blue sky. All right, we're not sat at the beach every day, but the weather's decent.
It does make a difference.
You're not seeing like grey everywhere and doom and gloom. So it's just, I think that helps. You open the curtains and blue sky, get on with your day, go out for a ride, you go out for a walk, it's nice warm weather. And to be fair, the people here are very pleasant. You go out for a walk with the dog, everybody's like, hello, have a good day.
Yeah.
It's the environment in which you live as well, which has an impact on how you generally come across.
Yeah.
Like, if we walk Nico or go into the lift or anything like that, you always get people saying like, have a good day, or everybody's quite open to talk to you.
Yeah.
Like they're quite like easygoing and polite.
I think that's a massive factor.
Yeah, it's not. What I'm trying to say is, it's not hard to be positive where we live.
Because imagine if we didn't have good weather, it was grey all the time, and the people were really not very nice, and no one ever said hi. Like, what are you supposed to do? It's difficult in that situation. So
yeah, because they look at you like you're.
Yeah, it's not as easy as to say it's a choice. Do you know what I mean? Yes, it is a choice, but then where you live, what you're surrounded by, will make it much easier for you to thrive and to be more positive. So the way that I look at it, if it's a possibility and you're in a situation or you have surroundings which are not very positive, I would try and get out of those surroundings and try and put yourself in an area or somewhere, a situation which is way more positive.
Yeah, if you put yourself in an environment, let's say you hang around with 5 people who drink a lot.
Yeah.
Chances are you are going to end up drinking a lot.
Yeah.
Or if they take drugs, chances are you will end up taking drugs as well.
Yeah.
If you hang around with 5 people who are always positive, chances are you will probably end up being positive as well.
Yeah.
So it works both ways. So it's not always the negative of, you're hanging around with bad people, because the same thing can happen if you hang around with good people.
Yeah.
Like, good things can happen. You hang around with 5 people who are constantly going to the gym, you're going to end up wanting, like, to fit in and then go to the gym and, improve your life. So we're just very fortunate. And that was an active decision that we made, to leave a country where, unfortunately, I don't feel people are constantly positive.
Yeah.
It is very difficult to live a very positive, can-do life in that country.
I agree there. So, next one. This is from Lynn. I love your podcast. I enjoy hearing your discussions and disagreements, which make you both relatable. I'm not a fan of the general public. Most people have lost the ability to be polite, and I have little patience in dealing with them. Lastly, I agree with the issues related to unruly children. You don't have to look any further than the parents. Our society has changed drastically and not for the better in the parental lane. I'm looking forward to another great podcast, and I hope you and your families have a Merry Christmas.
No, firstly, likewise.
Merry Christmas, Lynn.
I hope you and your families have a very Merry Christmas. I also understand the comments about the general public, and again, fortunately, we don't have to deal with a lot of that here. You know, like the rowdiness. Okay, the unruly children. Yeah, we do. You know, but the politeness of people, I think people are pretty polite.
Yeah.
You know, like, you know, I've never once been out in the mall or gone to a coffee shop or a restaurant where somebody's actively been rude to me.
Yeah.
Or I felt like, hang on a minute, that was uncalled for.
Yeah.
You know, it's even if you go out to, like, I've sat at a coffee shop where there wasn't a seat, any table like to sit on my own, and there was an empty chair, and I asked the person opposite if he wouldn't mind if I sat on that chair.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, absolutely fine. So,
Yeah.
and so this is what I mean, like, it's that comfortable here that I can go and sit in a coffee shop at a table with somebody else who's on his phone or on his laptop,
Yeah.
and I'm doing my own thing,
Yeah.
and we're sharing a table, but it's not, he didn't look at me like, oh, you freak, like, you just, like, literally come and sat.
Yeah.
You know, like, whereas I wouldn't feel comfortable doing that in other countries, you know, like,
Yeah.
even saying, excuse me, would you mind, they'd look at you like,
Why
what,
are you talking to me?
What do you want?
Yeah.
So I get that, but the unruly children bit, I think it is a parental issue. I think it's all down to the parents.
Yeah.
You know, do not let your children run wild.
Yeah.
You know, and if you do, that's your fault because
Yeah.
you know, who else is going to guide them?
Well, yeah, you're the person who's supposed to be
right?
guiding them. Yeah.
So the kids will be kids.
Yeah.
They're naturally loud, naughty, you know, whatever they want to be.
Yeah.
Like I've seen how like parents talk to children now.
What do you mean? Oh, gentle parenting.
Oh.
It is crazy how different it is to when I grew up.
It's like they're talking to their kid like the kid is their parent.
Yeah.
Like, oh, would you mind, little Charlie, if we do this?
Or the child is going crazy and then the parent's sitting there going, what did we discuss? Think happy thoughts, happy thoughts, happy thoughts. I'm sitting there thinking, I would genuinely tell that kid to shut up right now.
Like, okay, so I've got a friend, right? And sometimes we meet for coffee and he brings his son with him, right? And it's really funny because his son's cool. Like, we love having him out. We always tell him, like, bring your son out, right? So when people think, oh, we hate kids or whatever, I don't, because, like, I wouldn't say to him, bring like, your son out. So he brings him out, and he loves to sit and chill with us, you know, like, he thinks that he's part of the adults.
Yeah.
You know, like, he'll come and he acts all cool. I think he's five or six. And all he'll want to do is sit there, and he wants to like listen to like all our conversations and what we're all talking about. But he feels like he calls me Uncle Bobby, and then he calls like our other friends, you know, like Uncle whatever.
Yeah.
And he'll be there, and he'll be like, Uncle Bobby, you feel like having a blondie, you know, like the little cake. I'll be like, okay, cool. And I look at his dad, and he's like, don't tell your mama. Don't tell your mama we're having this. And he goes, I was like, does he go home and tell his mum? He goes, yeah, but he does it like. He won't tell her like to get me into trouble. He goes home and he tries to act all cool. I went out with Dad and his friends and I had this many donuts.
Yeah.
You know, like he's like in the cool gang.
Yeah.
But it's funny because sometimes he forgets that, you know, like we're all adults sitting around having a coffee and a chat, and he'll start talking a bit loud, and his dad has said, right, inside voice. Oh, really? And I was like, what's that? He goes, I have to tell him. He goes, he's just. Otherwise, he just starts talking too loud. So I have to tell him that this is your inside voice.
Yeah.
And you've got an outside voice. That if you're out and you're playing out. But it's, like, you see how parents are. Like, I think he's a pretty good dad.
Yeah.
Right? You know, like how he's like, he's not like one of those where, you know, like where somebody will bring their child and you're like, oh, for God's sake.
Yeah.
You know, like this has now ruined the whole afternoon. Whereas we enjoy having him out. So I think it is down to the parents, you know, and how they like. Even when we met our friends for the roast, and they brought their daughter out, and it was fine.
Yeah.
Like we still ate our meal.
Yeah.
Like she ate her food, and it wasn't a case like we felt like sometimes I've been out with friends who bring their kids, and you don't even feel like you've met the friends.
Yeah.
Because all they've done all that time is tend to their kids.
Yeah.
And it's like, literally, I've come out to have a meal.
Yeah, but you've not actually.
I watch you babysit your kids.
Yeah.
Which wasn't really the point of you coming out with
Exactly.
do you know what I mean? So yeah, I think it is down to parenting. I think it's...
I'm sorry, I've got this yawn that needs to come out and it's not coming out.
Don't worry, you do it every...
It's not because of you, it's just not coming out. I don't know what it is. It's like these little yawns that keep coming out.
Every podcast you do it anyway.
I can't help it. Okay, so moving on to the next one. Love listening to you guys just... Why can't I get my words out? Love listening to you guys discuss topics no one really talks about. I have to admit, I actually do not like kids. There's so many people like this. Not that we don't like kids. We just, maybe we're coming off like that. Because we're getting comments like, we don't like kids either. Maybe we're coming off like that. We don't not like kids. We just look at how kids...
it's easy, right? I just don't like badly behaved kids.
Yeah, that's it. That's the best way to put it.
I genuinely look at, well-behaved kids and I admire them. And I'm like, do you know what? And we have been away and we've seen children who are really well-behaved and we come away and we're like, oh my God, do you see how well-behaved that child was?
I actually like kids, but I don't like little brats.
Yeah. So it's not a case of we don't like kids. It's just I don't like badly behaved children.
Yeah. So, continuing. I find them really annoying, and in the UK, it's full of brats too, that just scream and mess around the place. I don't know if the same thing happens in Dubai. I am from an Asian family, and when I was a kid, it was if I so much as did anything but sit quiet, my parents would hit me. All my Asian friends were hit as kids too. Some of my Chinese friends said their parents used this type of cane. But to my UK friends, hitting kids is unthinkable. What do you guys think about parents hitting kids? Did you guys ever get hit as a form of discipline? I wonder if parents are too nice these days, leading to unruly and spoilt kids. And 8-year-olds walking around with their iPhones, buying drunk elephant and messing up stuff at Sephora. In my childhood, you would have had your ass spanked. You know what she's talking about, the drunk elephant thing? I don't know if you've heard of this, but there are kids now, obviously, well, probably female, right? As young as 10 who are on a full skincare regime. They're going and they're buying things like drunk. You should not be on things like drunk elephant or anything which has any kind of harsh ingredients in there for your skincare. And these kids are on this stuff. There are kids saying that, oh, I want to start retinol and things like that. This is stuff you do when you have fully grown into an adult.
You can thank social media for that.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's actually ridiculous. Going back to what we said, I think it's not a case that, I dislike kids in general. I think it's just specific type of kids, the ones who are just really bratty, who are not well behaved, exactly what you said. Otherwise, the ones that are polite, I'm totally fine with those and I actually really like them. But some of them can be really just rude and very entitled, and I'm really not up for that. I just feel like it's just rude. But in terms of the kids that you see walking, playing around here in Dubai, the ones who seem to be quite kind of not disciplined very well are actually expat kids. That could be any culture, but expat kids. If you look at the local kids here, they are so well behaved. You will never ever see them running around messing things up or anything like that. They generally are quite well behaved and they know not to it's very similar to when we were brought up as kids, where they have that slight fear of their parents that I don't want to step out of line because I'm going to disappoint my parent. Whereas a lot of kids these days, I feel are very actually, I don't care because you're not actually allowed to say that to me. That's wrong. You can't say those words to me. This kind of stuff I just don't agree with. I just feel nowadays, I feel a lot of kids seem to have more control over the parents than the other way around, and it shouldn't be that way.
You got to answer a question.
Yeah, I did answer, didn't I?
Did you get hit as a kid?
Oh! No, I didn't get hit. Sorry, I didn't answer that part of the question. I didn't get hit as a kid, no. But my mum now and again might have give me a little slap on the arm, and it's usually because I did something wrong. Never just out of the blue. Dad never ever touched any of us. Mum, it was always you know, at the time I was like thinking it's so major, but it wasn't when I look back at it. But yeah.
Right, so there's this thing about kids. So I think you're right. I've very rarely have I seen any of the local children misbehave. They're all pretty well behaved. You know, when you go out in public, it's usually the expat ones. Like this, like I'll never forget that one kid, and the family were from the Indian subcontinent. You could tell they're from India, and his dad obviously laughed at him or whatever. And this kid was having a tantrum. Well, I was like sat in the coffee shop, and this kid was going berserk
In the middle of the mall.
and he's like, "Oh, you laughed at me. You laughed at me." And the dad was like, literally, his uncle was trying to calm him down. So the whole family were out on a family outing in the mall. His little kid's going nuts, shouting,
That was
screaming.
so loud.
And he's like, "Oh," he goes, "but I felt that you were judging me." And at that point, I was like, "What?"
I know.
You know, so like kids are literally running rings around, you know, around the parents because they're saying stuff like that. Like as a parent, if my kid ever said to me, "I feel like you're judging me," I'd be like, "Yeah, I am." What are you going to do about it?
You know, some of the things they're saying is, I didn't even know how to put that sentence together when I was that age. I was like, if I even dare say this to my
I said that
parent
to my
right
dad.
now.
I feel you're judging. He'd probably say the same thing. "Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
You're a disgrace."
I would rather be told that.
Yeah. You're humiliating me and the family. And I tell you what, if this is how you want to behave, you can carry on and stay here. I'm going to the car. And he'd probably walk off. And
Yeah,
I'll be like,
that's when you're like, oh my God, I've been left.
and then you're like, oh, I better stop now.
Yeah.
I guarantee he would have like lay on the floor.
Oh yeah.
It's like,
I couldn't believe it.
At his age, no, he wasn't like a 5-year-old.
No,
he was on the floor, like hitting the floor, like you know, like going like nuts. So like honestly, it's stuff like that I can't handle.
This kid was something like 10, I think.
Yeah.
Right? There are a few things that stood out to me that day when I saw that. Firstly, how loud this child was. It was in the middle of a mall. They were sitting on the bench. You know, like the communal area you get in a mall. They were sitting there. Secondly...
But you couldn't hear the adults talking.
This is what I'm saying. The second thing was you could not hear what his dad was saying. I cannot tell you what I even think he was saying because the dad was so quiet with what he was saying to the child. All you could see was from his face and his actions that he was very kind of like trying to, you know, like pacify the child. And the child was just going for it. And the granddad was sitting next to the child just trying to like, you know, like stroking him. Like, and I was just sitting there thinking, how is this how the world has gone? How are children doing this now? How are you even allowing them to do this? Yeah. This is actually ridiculous. Because I can tell you one thing. If that's the way that child is now, there is no way in hell that child's going to have any respect for his parents as he's older.
No, that's the future leaders and like... And in answer to your question, did you get hit as a kid? A lot.
Yeah.
No, I got beaten as a kid. I was hit to the point where not that it would be classed as child abuse. Like I was never... like beaten black and blue, but I had got my fair share of like beatings from my dad. It wasn't just my dad, my uncles as well.
Yeah.
It was that okay at that time. Like I wasn't beaten black and blue. It wasn't. I know there's various degrees to being scolded as a kid, and it was nowhere near the point of child abuse. However, I did threaten my dad once. So I'll call Childline. So this was me after I got hit. Right. I think I must have done something. And he said to me again, he goes, "If you do that again, I'm going to hit you." Right? And I said, "Go, and then if you hit me, I'm going to call Childline." And you know his response was,
"What?
I'll take them 20 minutes to get here, 20, 30 minutes for them to get here. See what happens to you in those 20 to 30 minutes. At which point I was like, okay, then I won't call them.
Oh my gosh.
Can you remember that?
I remember when that was around,
I still remember the number as well. Do you know what? I now can sit here and laugh now. And I like, there's so many times me and my brother, we sit back and we remember, you know, like the times we used to get hit as kids. Like my dad would never lay a finger on the girls.
Look, life is different now. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying that in today's day and age that you should be hitting your children. I'm saying you should be disciplining them in some way. right? You decide how that works for you, but I think, that should be the case. So moving on to the next one, which is our last one, just a quick note from Mally, who always sends us messages in, so thank you so much. She says, this is in response to when you were talking about how sometimes I edit your bits out, which I don't do anymore. She's put, the guy who wasn't even so keen on being on the podcast in the first place, now complaining about having his part edited. But I'm Team Bobby on this one. I've been saying all along, let him loose, no editing. It is refreshing to see that there are still people in this world who just say it like it is. None of that PC BS. And he's funny. I was cracking up for the first 10 minutes. Nico is such a sweetie. I agree. 25 years ago, our South Asian culture was way more conservative. Things have changed a lot since then. Another enjoyable chat, guys. Thank you so much, Mally, and Merry Christmas. Have an amazing Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas. Thank you for your lovely comment.
And I have heard, loud and clear, I have stopped editing all his stuff out. The only bits that I edit out now are just long, if there's a big gap where no one says anything, or if there's some outside noise or anything, or I will put a little beep in if he's sworn or I have been swearing. That's it.
Are you going to keep in your Jesus story then?
No, I'm not keeping that in because that is bad. That's not me saying it how it is. Maybe it is. I don't know. Maybe for anyone who's not religious, that would actually resonate with them. Probably would. I bet everything I've discussed there, actually, people would actually understand.
No, I think that what that will signify is that how little people actually know about Christmas and why it's celebrated.
Yeah. For the actual reasons.
Yeah. And people are going away celebrating Christmas.
Yeah.
Like it's a holiday.
Yeah.
And not understanding the reason behind.
Yeah.
So, but no, thank you, Mally. And I don't know what part of the US you're from, but if we ever come to New York,
we'll meet you for coffee.
Yeah, I'll let you know, and then come meet us.
Yeah.
And then I'll really let you know what I think about the world. All the stuff that Nina doesn't let me say.
Do you know what would be really fun? If one day, if this podcast grows enough, right? One day we could just set up a live podcast session where we go somewhere and we invite everyone that watches listens to our podcast and invite them to come and watch it live.
I'll tell you what would like. Do you
like
know
a little road. What do you call it? Roadshow.
Yeah, I think what would work, and I think it might be good to do, is if we organise a YouTube live, right?
Oh, that would be quite fun.
But we'll have to set it up somewhere where we do it, and then we can have all the guys that watch the viewers.
Yeah.
Send in your questions.
Live, that would be
send
good.
It live and I'll answer them. Like you can ask me my opinion on anything. I'll tell you what I think.
That would be. So what we could do is we could set up on the main table there.
So we just set it up how we used to do the live on the beauty channel.
Fun, guys. Do you want to see that? Do you want a live podcast? That's actually a really good idea.
A live Q&A. We can do that. Well, I don't mind doing that.
Okay, maybe that's something we can do in the new year.
Yeah.
So get your question. Actually, no, you can do that live. So let us know. let us know in the comments if it's something you'd be interested in.
Correct. That's better. Let us have your questions.
Anyway, thank you so much, guys. We are wishing you a Merry Christmas. We hope that you have an amazing Christmas, however you celebrate it.
Thank you as well for all your support this year.
Yeah.
Even though we're not wrapping up, I think we've got another one before the end of the year.
One more.
But no, have a great Christmas, whatever you're doing with your families and stuff. Eat a lot, be merry, enjoy the few days off.
Yeah.
And I hope you have a great festive week.
We'll see you next time. Bye, babe. Say bye.
Why are you saying bye to me?
No, I'm not saying bye, babe. I'm saying say bye. Say bye, babe.
Say bye, babe.
No, don't say bye, babe. I'm saying, babe, say bye.
Okay, bye everyone.